Hello. It's
You don't want to climb up here?
no, not really. It's nice shadow though.
Oh,
It's inviting.
it's and it's not an emu.
It's an ostrich.
It's an ostrich in Australia.
Ostriches are not native to Australia, are they? It's emus. So we're a bit confused, but this is
I'm
the
very
first.
confused.
This is the first leg of our long. I don't know how long it's going to last, but our journey around Australia.
Yes.
So welcome
At least
everybody.
the East Coast.
Yes, at least along the east coast. So
Yes.
we'll see how we go. It's been pretty mixed so far. It's been wet, sunny,
Yes.
wet.
Sunny, wet,
That's not too bad.
cold. We started off about 10 degrees. It's probably a little bit the same.
And at the moment we're at Lake Albert. Now many of you,
Wrong.
yes, at the end of the Coorong actually.
Yeah.
It is.
It's at the end.
Yeah, because I think this lake actually runs into or connects with the mouth of the Murray.
Okay.
So where we were at the Berry, this is it's very, very windy. I'm protected because I'm behind this hill.
I'm staring at
It's
it.
a massive bit of water, isn't it?
Yeah, flowing fast. You can, because of the wind today. That we're in Meningie, so that's apparently
A very small town.
from an Aboriginal word which meant the land of mud.
The land of
Place
mud.
Or the place of mud.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't see much mud around,
No.
but there must have been at some particular point in time.
And I've never heard of this dude, this John Francis Peggotty, the Birdman of the Coorong, have you?
No.
He's
Well, the bushranger.
apparently South Australia's only ever bushranger.
All right. Okay.
And he was born in Ireland, but he was only a little fella. Apparently he was premature and he only grew to the size of a
Elephant.
7-year-old. So he could use that stature by climbing in and out of windows
All right.
of people like wealthy Londoners.
Well, they meant lots of windows in the bush in the.
No, that was in London, and then he sailed out here when was he born? He was born in 1864. He sailed out here in 1890.
All right.
And then when he got into trouble with the police, because he was on an ostrich, he could charge off.
So he would ride the ostrich.
Faster. Yeah, he would ride.
You little devils.
He was faster.
They had some value after all.
Yeah, than the police, but eventually he got killed and they've never found his body.
So here we are, first stop.
First stop.
Many more to go and many more videos. Thanks for being with us. Hi everybody. Now today is day 2 and we're pretty damn excited about the fact that it's pissing down with rain.
And it's cold.
And it's cold. It's about 12 to 13 degrees.
But it feels colder today because of the wind.
Yeah. So Dee is with me, even though you can't see her right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you can hear me.
And she's going to talk a bit about something we found out today or yesterday, which is about the Chinese entering through Robe in order to get to the gold mines at Ballarat. So here's Dee.
That was very interesting, and it's something I didn't know about the Chinese history in Robe in particular. I knew that we had some Chinese history, even though most white Australians would prefer not to acknowledge that. And remembering in that 1901, our first piece of legislation as a federation was the White Australia policy. So we didn't want anybody who wasn't Anglo.
No, how dare we?
European. Yeah,
That'd be a disgusting idea.
So apparently what happened was I knew about the gold rush because I knew many South Australians had moved to Ballarat for the gold rush during the 1850s, right? So the gold rush happening in Ballarat in the 1850s. And what the Victorian government did, lovely people that they were, was put a tax on entry to Victoria by Chinese people who wanted to go to the gold rush. So because they were doing that and that was too expensive, that was apparently more than the cost of their trip over here, Chinese people therefore stopped at Robe and they got off the boat here. And there was about 16,000 of them during the 1850s who then walked to Ballarat, which is about 400 kilometres, that's a longer walk than I've ever done or intended.
You probably walked that far in your lifetime.
But so I thought that was really interesting. And So, and South Australia did a similar sort of tax, apparently, according to the information that I've got here. The little brochure that I've got says that the Chinese people did actually contribute, to the local economy as well. There was another story that I read. There is a scholar who's been doing some work around what they call the Robe Walk, which is this walk by the Chinese from Robe through to Ballarat. And he was saying that in actual fact, they were very organised in Hong Kong and whatever, so that they were sending ships with people knowing that they had to walk and therefore providing supplies that they needed. But also the locals benefited because they would sell supplies to the Chinese people when they were walking through to Ballarat.
All right.
Bit about racist history.
Yeah, so there we go. There's Dr. Deirdre Michelle's history lesson. Expert in history that she is.
Not really.
But learning along the way. Learning along the way.
Those little snippets are interesting.
Yeah.
So something else we should talk about is that the first Australians, they estimate that there were in 1846, there were between 200 and 300 First Nations people in Robe. But by 1860, so just in 14 years, the population had declined by 2/3, which they attribute to
extermination.
Well,
I would
enough,
suggest.
they don't say colonisation in this. They say alcohol, TB, pneumonia, and general.
All brought by us.
Yeah, no,
all
but
brought by
why
white
do they
people.
say decimated by colonisation?
Well, because they're not as woke as we are.
Is that what it is?
And at this hour of the morning, we're extremely woke. Well, here we are while Dee is photographing me in front of this thing which is Victoria border, and it's inverted because for some reason the images are inverted. Well, such is life. Didn't realise that. But that's
Just do a
life.
smile for me.
There we go.
And there's a nice sign over there if you wouldn't mind coming, because it's the welcome to country sign.
Yep.
So we might do that as well. Old, isn't it?
It's freezing.
I wonder what the temperature is.
So we have been travelling now for this is our third day.
This is our third day. So we've stayed overnight at Robe in South Australia, and every time I looked anything up on Google for Robe in South Australia, they sent me to either wardrobe or bathrobe sites, which was very funny.
Yeah, what do you mean? Bathrobe sites or
Bathrobe sites, which is very funny. So yeah, Robe we enjoyed.
to
Portland. So that's the point, isn't it? And it's probably just going to get colder and wetter because it's Victoria. We saw the Blue Lake today. We saw the sinkhole that's in the middle of the city yesterday.
that was all very exciting, wasn't it?
We went to the cultural centre where there were some exhibitions on.
And where many years ago I did a presentation.
Yeah, that would have been about 2010, 2011, I think.
Yeah.
That's when our article was published. We jointly published something, but it was one of your how would you describe that?
It was one of the
activity?
DV activity I did with men.
That's right, the reverse role play.
play. Yeah,
And we were invited to attend a DV conference.
we were.
Yes, which isn't a conference about promoting DV, but preventing
That was the one.
DV.
So now we're on our way to Portland, and
But do you remember coming past here? So one of the reasons we're doing the trip the way that we're doing the trip is because a million years ago when you were 19,
yeah,
you hitchhiked around this area, didn't you?
yeah, and I walked to the border by memory. It seemed like a long bloody way when we were driving to it, but we're at the border now. But and when I was here, I can remember quite distinctly a parking area. It wasn't this one, some other area, where I was getting the biddy out, and I was getting ready for
Did you?
myself a cup of tea over a fire.
Had your swag?
I was very creative. I did have a swag.
Yeah.
And two bikies came up to me, and I was shitting myself a little bit, wondering what was going on here, thinking I was about to be mugged. And when they took off their helmets, they were two beautiful young women. and
Then
they,
you were shooting yourself for a different reason.
well, they said, would I like a lift to Warrnambool or something along the road? And stupidly I said no.
Oh.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
You were feeling shy?
I think I was terribly shy of this. But, had I been a few years older, I would have said, absolutely, where are we staying tonight?